Hi everybody, it's Guru Bob again, and welcome to part 2 of this series of videos on Firefox for the 30-day challenge pre-season. In this video I'm going to be talking about add-ons, and in particular an add-on called Google Global, which I'm using as an example to show you how to get and install add-ons or plugins into Firefox. Google Global is a nice application. What it basically does is it fools Google into thinking that your computer is located in a different country, so that you can see the search returns that you would get if you were searching on something from your computer in that country. And this is particularly useful if you're looking to target markets which are different to the markets in which you live, or countries in which you live. So let's go ahead and look at how we can install and use Google Global in Firefox. Here we are in Firefox, and you can see I've just typed in the phrase Google Global into Google, and the first return that I get back is the website of the company that has made that extension, which is one of the ways you can go and find where to download Firefox plugins. There's another way which I'll show you a bit later. If I click on that first link and go to that website, on that page eventually you'll see a button where it says Install Now. Now, if this is the first time that you've done this for this particular domain, when you click on that button, depending on how you set up Firefox, you may get a warning that you need to authorize that domain to open up a pop-up window. So go ahead and authorize that, and then come back to this page and click Install Now. I shouldn't need to do that because I've already done that for this particular domain. And then this window appears, and eventually the Install Now button will become active, and you can click that to install the plugin. Having done that, you will need to restart Firefox in order to activate that plugin. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Most of the time when you install plugins, the functionality associated with that plugin will either be associated with the menu that you get when you right-click inside the browser window, or in the bottom taskbar an icon will appear, or icons will appear, which relate to the functionality of the plugin that you've installed. In the case of Google Global, however, you access it in a slightly different way. You need to add it into your top toolbar here. You do that by right-clicking on a space in the toolbar itself and clicking on Customize, and then navigating to the Google Global icon, which will appear in this list. Doesn't appear for me because I've already installed it. Click on the icon and drag it into the toolbar, and you see I have already done so here. And I usually put it in between the address bar and the Google search bar here. So once again, if you've just installed Google Global, an icon will appear here. You click and hold and drag and drop it into here. As I said, I don't need to do that because I've already installed the plugin myself. Now, the way that Google Global works is that if you go to a Google search, and I'm going to search on the phrase that we optimized for last year in last year's 30-day challenge, which is vintage electric guitar. And the search returns that I get back at the moment are somewhat optimized for Australia because I live in Australia and I'm searching from Australia. So these are the Australian search returns. As it turns out, our 30-day challenge blog from last year, vintageelectricguitarblog.com, is in position 1, searching from Australia, which is a great result. If I wanted to see what the search returns would be were I searching from the US, I would click on the Google Global icon and select USA, and these are the returns that I would get back, assuming I was searching from the US. And you can see that those returns are slightly different. But our website from last year's 30-day challenge is still in position 1. So we rank in position 1 for vintage electric guitar in both Australia and in the US. Similarly, I can look where we rank in the UK. And in the UK, you can see the numbers, the returns have changed yet again. And now the Vintage Electric Guitar blog is not in position 1. It's actually in position 3 here. And the first 2 returns are from a website located in the UK, happens to be on a UK domain, which is also optimized for the key phrase vintage electric guitar. And because it's a local domain and because it's hosted on a local server, Google is giving it preference over our blog, which is actually a US blog, a .com domain hosted on a US server. So it's still ranking quite well, but not in position 1. And that's pretty much how Google Global works. All right, well, that's pretty much how you install an add-on, and specifically using Google Global as an example. Another way of actually finding add-ons for Firefox is to click on the Tools Add-ons menu and go into this, which will bring you to this window here. You can see I've got a number of plugins installed in my Firefox, and some of these plugins will be part of the recommended plugin set that we'll be talking about in the third Firefox video coming up next. But if you click on the Get Add-ons window here, and if you happen to know the name of a plugin that you'd like to get, or somebody's recommended something, you can click on the name of that plugin here and install it straight from this window. Well, that brings me to the end of part 2 of this series on Firefox. As I mentioned before, in part 3 I'll be discussing the list of recommended plugins that we suggest you install as a minimum that we'll be using in this year's 30-day challenge.